Hi, good evening, everyone. I hope you guys are having a good night and you guys had a great day. I am just making a video because I was thinking about this whole quarantine thing and how it's being portrayed to kind of break you down. And I was trying to find the positives in it. And one positive that I saw in it was being a quarantine mom. So let me explain. When I had my first child, I felt extremely guilty about going back to work after maternity leave was done. I felt like I was being a bad mom, leaving my child alone, leaving my child with a babysitter, and I just felt like, wow, like I'm leaving my kid. I'm going to be missing all of these milestones here. I'm not going to, there's things that I'm not going to be able to see. But I had to go back to work. We need the money, and diapers, formula, all that stuff is extremely expensive. And then when I had my daughter, my second child, that guilt went up to like 1,000. I was like, I'm doing this again. To the point where I was fairly depressed for a while, and I went to therapy about it. And what I was told was that I had mommy guilt. But they explained to me that this is something that a lot of mothers deal with, and it's something that you have to deal with, and you have to process. And they gave me tools to deal with it and to work with it, and here I am, how many years later. But during this time of quarantine, I'm like, wow, there's benefits to this. One of them is that I'm making up for lost time. I feel that I missed out on when I had my kids. All of that guilt, I'm being able to rectify and reverse. I'm able to see growths now that I may not have caught then. For example, my daughter is 5'5". I'm 5'3". I lied for a while and told them that I was 5'4". It didn't work. My daughter and my son, they're both 5'5". And they're like, oh yeah, you didn't tell the truth because we can see over you. And I'm like, you're not seeing right over me, but they just love the idea that they are taller than me. So that's one thing that I was able to see. And I was able to see the changes and able to see them growing and getting taller and just limbs getting longer. I was like, oh my gosh, okay, this is pretty cool. So that was one thing that I felt like I caught up on. Another thing that I feel like I caught up on was my son. His voice completely changed. It changed from March to even now. I feel like it's getting deeper and deeper all the time. At one point, I was afraid because I was like, who the hell is in the house? Who is talking in this house? I thought that one of his those people that they talk to on their devices, like when they play video games, like hacked something, and I kept having my son repeat the phrase over and over to make sure that it was no one else and it was him. And I'm like, oh my god, his voice changed. He sounds completely different. And it's to the point that I'm like, I'm so happy that I caught that, because I'm sure that I would have, but it was from like Monday to Tuesday. I love to hear him speak. I ask him questions, long-winded questions, to get long-winded answers just to hear him speak. To me, his voice, it just sounds like the deepest velvet. It just sounds like, it's just so beautiful that I was able to catch that and able to see it live and in stereo. I love it. Another thing that I find about being a quarantine mom is that I am able to carve out time to spend time with them. I feel like when I was working, it was harder to spend time to schedule. Okay, all I had was the weekend to do things with them. Now I have 7 days a week to do things with them. They don't want 7 because they get tired of mommy. They want to do their own thing. But I at least get maybe 4 or 5, as opposed to just getting the Sunday or the Saturday. or if you're lucky, depending on the weather or the activity which you want to do, or depending on the funds that you have, you get both. So I'm able to carve out, okay, on Monday I see that you have the show that you want to watch, we're going to watch together. On Wednesday it's going to be Halloween. We're going to watch, just for example, I know Halloween is on Friday, but just for an example, Halloween, we can watch a scary movie, and, you know, I can maybe plan to like buy for apples. I can maybe, you know, plan to do something, because of course we can't go outside, we can't do anything, and we don't want to risk anyone's safety. Or I can make a plan to say, we're going to go and get some Cold Stone on Friday. I can plan out these things, and also little tiny staycations that I couldn't do before. That's another part of being a quarantine mom that I like. Don't mind me, I made notes because I want to keep it together. Another part of being in a quarantine mom that I like, and being able to carve out activities, is this. Me and my daughter have been watching Steven Universe every Friday. It's a cartoon from Cartoon Network. It's about maybe 5 or 6 seasons, and then they have like separate episodes here and there, I believe. But each season has about maybe like 50 or 60 episodes. But thank God the episodes are about 11 or 12 minutes long. But I'm able to have that time with her, that marathon time with her, and we're able to just spend time and just binge watch the show for, you know, a whole night. And while I might not agree with every aspect of Steven Universe, I can still see what my kids, because my son watches it also, I'm also able to see what my kids are watching, and then we can have a discussion based on what our values are and what their individual values may be. So it ends up bringing up great conversation for us to have at the table about how we feel about particular topics. Another thing, and this is the last point that I will make, that I like about this whole quarantine time, is that it has brought out the gamer in me. When I was not even thinking about children, I played video games like you would not believe. Genesis, Nintendo, the first Xbox, PS2. I was in all of it. Okay? I loved it to death. I'm able to now watch my kids play, and they like watching, and they like the idea of me watching them play. I can watch my son. He is bomb in any game that he plays. He can master it, and he's really, really good. And I'm able to watch him, and it's also me spending time with him, because I could ask him questions. How do you do this? How are you doing that? How did you learn this? Same thing with my daughter. She's playing games that I can't even grasp. And it's kind of cool, because it also gives us the time that we can chill, and I can ask her, how are you doing this? How did you learn that? How are you figuring out these things? And they like the idea of me being interested in what they're doing. So much so that it's made me such a gamer again that I bought my own system here. Can you guys see this? Is this put up the right way? Okay. Yeah, so this Nintendo system, and it has 620 games pre-programmed into it. That's how much it influenced me, because I want to get back into gaming again, and I love it. And it's been a big stress reliever for me, especially after a week. While I'm drinking my rum on Friday, I'm playing this sucker right here. So that is just my quick thoughts on why I love the idea now of being a quarantine mom. Tell me how you feel, what you think, leave your comments, subscribe, share, Tell me, even if you care about it. If you don't, but yeah, I would love it. Okay, take care.